Now we will talk about the design. This is a first step in your ordering process, and in the things that before you can place the order, you must know what you want to order, and never contact a factory before you are ready with your designs and stuff, because it's not just a factory you need the right factory, and that you can only know when you know what you want. The first thing when you make a design, think of the end buyers, what it is, make them happy. Too many startup people, so they think that, oh, I will do this design, it will look good, and they don't think, how does it matter to the possible buyers? What does it make them buy? You have to be buyer oriented, and we have already said it should be an improvement what you give them. They should be better than something. And why is this better than what else in the market? And if you make t-shirts, it should be some idea, something that's I saw one company, they started to print news, the latest week's news. They put something top interesting on that and had a new t-shirt every week. Then they made something new. That was an improvement because it was something different. So like that, you have to see, can you think new? Is it better this way or that way? Or how do you do it in the right way? Then the materials is important. You need a lot of information. For teachers, for instance, you need to say the fabric, the weight of the fabric, the how it's done, the mixture of material, and if it's treated this way or another way, and so on. There are many variables. And you don't say, I want t-shirt of cotton, because it hardly means anything. There are millions of variants of fabrics of cotton. So you can say, I want 100% cotton, knitted cotton, in 180 GSM, that stands for grams per square meter, that means the weight of the fabric, and I want the cotton to be comp material, and I want it in so and so color. Then you start to be more precise. So like that, you have to give all the details of this fabric, and you can even give a sample for it so one can understand what you want. Then you should, in your design, think of manufacturing issues. The first mistake many can do, they don't see it, how it's practical. What effect does it have practically, what they do? Like for instance, one company, they wanted to do a short run with only a few t-shirts with some sport printing on the front for kids. It's very nice design. The problem was that the design was covering the whole front area. And why was that a problem? Because it means you need different originals for the printing for every size. Because you can't use the small size print on the big size print. You need another screens or whatever, depending on printing method. So it was not practical. If you have a print that can be used on all sizes without changing, is no problem. But when you do like this, it will be a bigger problem. If you have straight fabric and you want it to match over the seams of the stripe go, then there will be more fabrics used, and so on. So there are so many variables. You have to think practical, how does it work in a factory? And then you have the cost factor. You may do something like fantastic, but it runs to high cost per item. So you're prepared to take that cost, fine. Otherwise you have to think, can I do it so also it's easy to produce it cost-wise? If you were dealing with me, I will tell you when you come to me with the design, but that's how it works. Then quantity and price are like hanging together. The higher the quantity, the lower the price, and the lower the quantity, the higher the price. And this is important to understand when you're ordering also, because what is your idea price-wise? If you want low prices, you need big quantities. And for instance, also there is thing with kilos and volumes when you're shipping the things, because if you're ordering something that's lightweight, there's still a minimum kilo per volume. It's called volume weight. So even if it's less kilos than so and so, they will calculate it as if it was the minimum kilos for that volume. And there are also some price limits that you should know about. If you come to someone like me, I would help you with that. But sometimes if you order some 450 kilos or something, and the price is lower at 500 kilos, then one should adjust to that. Transport price I'm talking about. Yeah. And another thing when you design and there is the handling of the thing. Let's say you're making a fantastic, beautiful ladies t-shirt with a lot of sequences and stones and everything like that. But then maybe it's not so practical for the user. They need to hand wash it. And if you want and accept that, then fine, do it. But you should also think, is it the targeted group is suitable? I mean, if you do a football t-shirt with sequences, wouldn't be practical because they want to throw it in the washing machine after every time maybe they use it. So you have to think, how can I do this rightfully when I do the design that it match for its type of use, also how complicated it is for the end buyer to use it. Then apart from the t-shirt itself, there maybe need to be hang tags that you want to be showed in the shop, or maybe you need some labels in there in the neck that describe what it is, the material or the washing instructions, or and there are some standards, but you maybe also want to have your design or your logo, etc. there. Another thing is that you need to think of the packing. How is it packed? Can you pack it easy or not? And so you make a construction that is easy to pack, or a product easy to pack. And how do you design the packing? Is it a plastic bag only, with or without printing? Or is it a box of some kind? Or is it a special, I mean, I've seen people selling t-shirt in cans or in cotton bags, or you know, they're all different things. It can be done. So depends. How do you want packing also, and should it be printing also on them and so on? And when it comes to the normally what we have done when we use for t-shirts, we pack either bulk packing, which is going to be shown in shops. I mean, 12 t-shirts in each packed plastic bag, and then they are packed in the inner boxes, and then we put 4 inner boxes in an outer box, and then we send it. Or should it be packed one by one? Or how should it be? And of course, the more standardized you go for what is going on, the more easy and the cheaper it becomes. And then, of course, what should be printed or written on the box, so you can find it later. When you have a store and put it, you want to find the right product there. Depends how much you order, how difficult it is, but still have that in mind. And when you design, one thing is to be the design, but you should have maximum instruction and information on the material, as I said, on sizes, what measurements you want this and that. And if you're missing something and not telling the factory what you want, you may got something else than you wanted, and then you say, "Oh, look, they didn't give me what I wanted," but then it's your fault because you didn't tell them. And remember, take nothing for granted. One example. If you said, I want so many pieces of the t-shirt in small, I want so and so in medium, and I want so and so in large. But you haven't given the sizes. Then the problem is that, yes, in USA, large is normally an extra large in Europe and so on. So there can be a lot of mistakes, and different companies have different profiles. Some wants to give bigger sizes than typically for that size number or name, like small or size 12 or whatever it is. Why do they want to do that? Because they want the buyers to feel, oh, I can still use this size, even if they're grown up a bit. And others are more precise on what this, and there are no standards in this really, and there are different traditions in different countries and different places and different types of these garments. So always try to understand, you have to give full information. Otherwise, you say, oh, you do the standard, and they take what's standard for them, which might not at all be standard for you. So important, maximum information about colors, everything. And then you can reuse certain things in order to come down in price. Instead of having an order where you have 10 different colors on the fabric, you have 2. Year 1 you have blue and white, the next one you have black and red, or whatever you want. Because then you use the same fabric for many different garments or different styles or different printing will come later or so, but you make variation not by having the problem that they have to buy new fabric for each and every variant you want or color there, but you minimize that by using that. And the same thing, you have bottoms, you have zips, you have whatever, you have the same for many different, then it will be much better. So when you make a product, think of that also. If you're going to have a lot of variables of it, even if there's lamps you're going to produce, or there are some parts you can use, the electrical part should be the same, and this and this will be standard, and so it becomes easy to handle, just as an example. This is how you work with the order, on the design.